Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. We record these interviews so potential buyers have more information about the seller and the business to help them make a buying decision further down the road. Today we're talking about an Amazon KDP business for sale, and I have both of the sellers with me today. So welcome to the show, Rebecca. Jenny, how are you doing today?
Thanks for having us on, Vinny. We're really excited to talk about our business.
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having both of us on.
Yeah, it's definitely our pleasure, and really looking forward to talking about your business in particular. Just before we get stuck in, let me give our listeners a very brief summary of the listing today. So today's business is an Amazon KDP digital product and display advertising business created in September 2013 in the music niche. The average monthly revenue for the business is $8,506, and it makes an average of $6,937 per month in net profit. The assets included in the sale are the Amazon KDP account with 6 physical books and 5 ebooks, domains and all of the site's contents and files, an email list with 11,675 subscribers, a trademark, a YouTube account with over 32,000 subscribers, various social media accounts, employee contracts, SOPs, and book rights. We recommend interested buyers to have an approved AdSense account in order to help the successful migration of the business. You can head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 52903 to learn more about the business. And if you want to start your due diligence, please remember to unlock the listing first if you're interested in purchasing this asset. So, ladies, that's just a very general overview of the business, but we're a bit more interested to find out about yourselves. Can both of you share with me briefly about your background in building or running online businesses?
Well, this is our first online business. It was an idea that Rebecca came up with. She had read a book about making money online, and she decided she wanted to write an ebook. And she researched all the various niches on Amazon that she felt qualified to write about. And both of us come from a music background. So we were looking at a lot of different niches. And the particular niche that we chose was one that I'm a school teacher during the day. My day job is a school music teacher. And this happened to be an area that I was teaching in school. And I had developed a unique curriculum. So it seemed like a perfect fit because it was something she had more of the business background, although she's also a professional musician, and I had a ton of teaching background in this particular area, and I had a unique pedagogy or method of teaching this to children, but we felt that it would also work very well for learners of all ages, and learners range in age from 8 to 88, or even older sometimes.
Yeah, that's a really lovely story. I really like that lovely marriage of, just the right timing of the right skills and the right mindset and also the right motivation, everything just sort of coming together for you both to start the business at that time. Please don't keep me in suspense. What was that book that you read, Rebecca, that gave you that spark?
I don't remember the name of it. I'm sorry. It was at the library. I think it had a cover of like a picture of a beach and something about earn money online or something, and I thought, I should check that out.
Okay. No worries at all. Yeah, I did catch you a bit off guard there, but the chances are that book might have been the 4-Hour Work Week, because that seems to be the one that everyone in our industry flocks to when they think about starting an online business and running an online business. So that gives me a good idea of why you decided to start a business, and obviously why in this niche, in the music niche. Can you briefly share with me how the business makes money? Because it is monetized in a few different ways.
Revenue source right now is the KDP royalties, and most of our royalties are for our print books. In our niche, people prefer paper books. We are also have been about for the last year and a half, maybe we've been working on building more e-commerce and courses on our website because we want to diversify. And we also felt we could charge a higher price. Basically, the KDP books kind of are the beginning of the customer journey. And then once people are really excited about the way that we do things, then they're ready to upgrade to these more expensive products. So that's been really successful for us. And just recently, we added an Amazon affiliate store and put a bunch of affiliates links into our blog, kind of to just add more value for a buyer and kind of get that started for them. So it'd be interesting to see how that might grow. And then we have a little bit of money comes in from YouTube ad revenues. And we also have a book that was traditionally published, and we get a little bit of royalties from that, not much at all. The KDP royalty way is much more profitable. So that's kind of an overview there.
I think that's a really good breakdown. Like you say, it sounds like KDP takes a lion's share as kind of the revenue right now, but at the same time, it's the beginning of that customer journey where if they do get interested in this niche and in this area, they've got other products that they can explore and sort of go down this music rabbit hole, so to speak. Both of you have done really well in growing and scaling this business. So our listeners will be wondering, why are both of you choosing to sell the business right now instead of staying with it and growing it?
For me, I have some other business opportunities I'd rather be involved with, stuff I've been thinking about. So I'm ready for a change, basically.
Yeah, and it's similar for me as well. I'm interested in going after something that's a little different, broadening, diversifying, more advanced learners, that kind of thing. Still in music, because that's what I've done my whole career, but I'm interested in doing something a little different with it.
It makes sense. I think a lot of people tend to do that, and when they start their first business and they experience success with it, a lot of people tend to want to move on. It might be a case of shiny object syndrome, but it's also a case of, there are other opportunities out there, and sometimes holding on to the first darling, so to speak, can sort of hold you back because you still have to dedicate sort of time and resources and mental bandwidth to making sure that it's still there. So yeah, it makes sense that you're selling it on to go off and explore other ventures, for sure. Let me ask both of you then regarding just your experience of building this business. Was there anything that you learned that you think you will apply to future sites or businesses?
We found out that developing a relationship with our customers is really critical. So having a great email list where you can tell people about new products so that they're interested in continuing down the road with what you've started. YouTube is a great place to generate traffic, and also some Facebook Lives. There's things that you can do on social media. But when you start getting people who keep coming back, who send you emails who have this question or that question, and you answer them and you develop products for them and you develop a relationship with them, not just sort of go off in the dark and say, well, I think somebody might be interested in X, Y, Z, but to actually listen to your customers, develop a relationship, and kind of make your business follow that niche. That seems to be really critical.
Yeah, we have a coach for our business, and he really helped us refine kind of our target profile customer and create a bunch of email funnels that help us get good reviews on Amazon and, urge people to check out our other products. So early on, the first 2-3 years, we didn't really realize that we should be getting emails and trying to, regularly connect with people. But in the last year and a half or so, we've really refined that, put a lot of time into it, and been very effective.
And we have a lot of these funnels that are in existence on CoSchedule, and they go to the various social media platforms. And we have the emails. We have these various consumption emails. So when people do download a product, they interact with the product and then write back what they like, what they didn't like. And all of that is part of the sale. So whoever buys the business is going to have all this set up for them. They don't have to reinvent the wheel. They have to make sure that they keep it running, but they don't have to reinvent it. It's all there. And we spend a lot of time in that, and it's starting to really give some great returns.
Yeah, that's some really great tips. Definitely sounds like you've recognized the importance of the customer journey and just finding about your market and what makes them tick and why they would want to purchase your product or engage with your service. And it also sounds like the pair of you managed to streamline these processes. It sounds like whoever steps into this business will enjoy a more hands-off operations compared to others. And we'll dig into some of the opportunities as well further on in the interview. I want to ask, when you first started the business, was there any software or tools that you found to be really helpful to help you grow it?
Well, I already knew WordPress, so that was helpful. We used WordPress. Mostly we learned stuff from courses and books that we read. And then when we finally connected with our coach, that was super, super helpful because he really held our hand in terms of what was the best approach within a WordPress universe to make it easy for us to deliver what we wanted to deliver in terms of auxiliary content to the print books and courses. I think that about covers it. Jenny, do you have any other thoughts on that?
No, not really. You were more familiar with online stuff and software than I was. But, I would say a software that's been essential because we're in the music industry is, if you want to create new products, is a knowledge of the program Finale. And that is a very specific, unique program for writing. It's like WordPerfect for writing sheet music. And there's not that many people who know how to use it. And I took a course probably 15 years ago, a graduate course in learning how to do it. And I've become rather expert in writing music in Finale, and that seems to be a really critical piece of software. It was helpful to have known that before we started the business, didn't have to learn it.
Yeah, so just to recap on that, Jenny, you were saying that piece of software is called Finale, is it?
Yeah, Finale, Finale. It's pretty niche-y. I mean, there used to be two programs, Sibelius and Finale, and I think Finale bought Sibelius. But basically, if you're a band orchestra teacher geek in a public school, you use it. And anybody who's writing music for publication is going to be using Finale. It's the only program out there. There's a pretty steep learning curve to it, so I'm really glad that I had a 3-credit graduate course in the program before we started this business. I mean, I learned a lot, became a lot better at using the program after we did this business, but it took years to learn it. And it's a fairly complicated program. I'd say that's a pretty important thing. But anybody who buys the business gets all the Finale files that we've done because I've done them. And there's tons and tons of Finale files. And so that will be something that will be really helpful. But if you want to write new stuff, you're going to need to have somebody who knows this program.
I don't know, I just feel like I've sort of leveled up in knowledge there. It feels like a very niche type of software in the music industry. So I feel like quite privileged that I've been able to learn this today. So thanks for sharing that. That's great. I mean, I was just asking both of you now about what really worked for you as you were building the business. But I guess on the flip side of things, was there anything that you tried that didn't quite work, that just didn't really give you the ROI that you were hoping for?
Oh, yeah. You can't really be in business for 7 years and not have that happen. You're going to have opportunities to bark a tree that's not going to give you any return. And when you start losing money on it, it's time to cash it in and try something else. That's one of the things that's so difficult is there's so much out there. It's really hard to know what the right path is. You don't have the resources of, say, Coca-Cola or Nike or something like that. But we tried advertising in a book publication for librarians. Not one response. We tried Facebook ads for our print books, but because the ads were fairly expensive, it ended up costing us more than we made. So that didn't work for us either. And then this was our sort of biggest thing that did not work is we had brought up on another coach rather than the one that we finally ended up going with. And we tried making a free ebook to put on Amazon and then to also put on some of the other various platforms such as Nook and, the Canadian one, all the various different platforms that are out there. And the hope was people would download the free book and it would drive traffic to our other books. And we spent a lot of time writing and formatting this book and developing a video course. And then Amazon rejected it because it was too similar to our other books. So yes, we did things that didn't end up working out, which was one of the reasons we went and pursued getting a business coach. And we continued listening to podcasts and continued trying to learn what was the best way to make money with an online business, how to find your niche. And that learning and growing was an awesome experience and brought us to the point where we are now, where we have a business that is profitable that we can offer for sale.
Yeah, no, I think that's great that, like you said at the beginning, Jenny, entrepreneurship, the road is paved with failures. And unfortunately, it's just the nature of things, isn't it? Like, you're not really going to get to your goal without just messing up a whole bunch of times. And it sounds like, unfortunately, you had your fair share of lessons from the School of Hard Knocks. But the great thing is you're able to glean some valuable information from it. And it was really good that you acknowledged that, maybe we need someone who's a bit more experienced in this and you got a coach to assist you. So it sounds like there was definitely a lot of good that came up, sort of those failed experiments for sure. I guess I wanted to ask both of you, this is sort of a question really for our listeners who are interested in getting started with online businesses, especially maybe in the KDP world. If you could speak to yourself 7-8 years ago when you first started this business, what advice would you give yourself, that you wish you knew now when you started?
Two things. I would say really research your niche, your title. There's software by Dave Chesson called Kindlepreneur. You could find out a lot of good stuff pretty easily there, so that you choose a spot on Amazon where there's lots of traffic to that category on KDP and not all that much competition. And you can find out that stuff by spending some time grinding through these Kindlepreneur reports. The next thing I would say is to really learn how to do Amazon SEO, which is around like the title of your book and the keywords that you tell Amazon and, what you write in your description and stuff like that. And then the final thing would be to just from the beginning start working on building a platform where, as Jenny was saying earlier, you are connecting with your customers, readers, getting email addresses, staying in communication with them, continuing to kind of create a longer customer journey. Because that way you don't have to keep finding new people. You keep the people you already found, and then it's much easier to build a profitable audience. So those are things I wish I had known.
I agree. Email marketing is really crucial, creating a community of people that like your products so that you can create new ones that will, as they grow, so that they have a long customer journey with you. That's really, really critical. Once you get them, you want to try to really keep them. Our coach would often say you want it to be like Hotel California. Once they're in, they can never leave.
Yeah, that's definitely some really great advice there. Again, it's just one of those things that I don't think you'll be able to learn and pick up without the experience. So I think that bit of wisdom will help whoever's listening in the long run, for sure. I just want to transition over now to the marketing side of things. What do you currently do for marketing in the business?
Well, I'm looking right here. We get a lot of people who go to Amazon who are searching in this niche. And so they find our books just through Amazon. There's a lot of Google searches that also work, but the things that we have created that have been really successful is a YouTube channel that actually teaches various aspects of music at free. And people want this, and so they sign up, and it's very low risk for them. And then we send them some free music. And then if they like the way we do the music and the way we teach the music, then they get interested in our books. And then they other products that are on our website, and they get onto our email list. Also have a very active Facebook page. And every now and then I go on and do live lessons on Facebook and bring in a lot of people who are really, really interested. And then they respond, and I'll say, do you have any questions? And they'll write a question, and then I'll answer it. Sometimes people will send me an email before the Facebook, and I will address the question in advance. And so I would say that having this email list that where they're getting free sheet music, we have something that's set up automatically where they get free sheet music every other week. And then that connects to some of the YouTube videos that we have, connects to some of the Facebook live lessons I have given. And all of that has built upon itself. So we have a kind of a group of customers that's really excited about our products and is asking us when the next one's coming out. So that kind of marketing is for people who are really interested. And then we have all kinds of organic kinds of things on all the various social media platforms. And we tend to, I would say Facebook, YouTube are our biggest ones, but we also have LinkedIn, Pinterest, Instagram, and Twitter.
I'll just add to what Jenny said that this free sheet music offer that we have, it's been automated into like a 2-year long sequence. So the buyer wouldn't have to do anything to keep that going. It just keeps going. And each free sheet music that the customer receives has a matching lesson video that's included in the email. So it's a pretty high value thing for people to get free. And people really like it. It's a really good offer, a high response rate for us. The other thing that I'll add is we do run a few AMS ads on US and UK. So I took a special course on how to do that and have been able to find some keywords where the cost per click is pretty low. And those ads have been running quite a long time, like maybe a year, which is pretty typical for AMS ads. So I don't know why that's happening, but it's a good thing.
I think that's great. It sounds like there's a good, healthy mix of, well, mainly organic traffic, but there's avenue of the AMS ads as well for the paid distribution channel, which is, like you said, still going, which is a great thing. So, and also there's email funnels, which seem to be pretty well optimized by now, so that the new owner can just step in and enjoy that and not have to tweak it too much, because it seems like it's running on its own perfectly fine. So I guess just by extension then, because I've asked you about the marketing side of stuff, can you both describe to me what it looks like to run the business on a day-to-day basis, or even weekly basis?
I think the best way to describe it would be weekly, just because Rebecca and I both have day jobs. I teach in the public schools. I'm a music teacher, and so I'm a little bit more free in the summer, but during the school year, I have a very full-time plus. I actually get stipends because I work outside the school day as a music teacher. So that's just saying we have been able to grow this business with each of us having a full-time job. So I would say that for me, I probably check email every morning. I'm a morning person, but every morning before I go to work, I'll check and see if there's any customer things I need to respond to. If I have homework from our coach as far as creating new email funnels or something like that, I might work on that an hour after work in the evenings. I might spend a couple hours on a Saturday or a Sunday. But pretty much for me, it's been an 8 to 10 hour thing. But this is growing the business. We're just going to maintain it. It would be less work than that. So depend on what the buyer would want to do. But just the fact that we've been able to grow it this much to the point that it's been this successful. I recently went on Google and was looking at best-selling books in a particular niche, and one of our books was number one on this one particular blog post about the best-selling books in this particular music niche. And so we've been able to do that on top of our full-time jobs and sort of fit it in and still have a life and do things that are not related to our work.
And as Jenny pointed out, that's with growing the business. So in terms of maintaining the business, if you were just going to keep it running along, sort of plug and play, there's not all that much that needs to be done. There's some of the stuff that I do is administrative stuff like paying bills, reviewing the financial statements from the accountant, making sure the tax returns get filed, all that stuff. That's maybe 3-4 hours a month at most. And then I'm also managing our IT guy, and he does all the website maintenance. But sometimes he needs to know from me, which way do we want to go on this plugin or whatever. So I'm speaking with him about that. And I think Jenny maybe said it, but I'll just repeat it. She does do work on maintaining the social media presence. So she's created a lot of campaigns. There's like a campaign for each print book that's already in co-schedule and it's automated, but occasionally she needs to do some new content as well. So the seller would need to do some of that. It'd be pretty minimal if you're not trying to grow the business, if you're just trying to keep it moving along the way it is now.
And if you have the knowledge of how to do co-schedule, like I had to learn that, but if you have the knowledge, all the various campaigns I set up are templates. In fact, yesterday I just redid some templates because I wanted to oomph something up for one of our products. And if you really know how to do that, much more than I did, it would be really easy to just go in and tweak it a little bit and, analyze, well, this one worked really well, this one didn't, let's replace XYZ or not. But if you have some knowledge in marketing, there's a lot of organic stuff that is right at your fingertips. And if you really have knowledge about it, you could really, really grow it.
For sure. I guess I just want to ask then, as an additional question, for any buyers who aren't familiar with KDP or the music niche, what would you recommend are some of the skills that they should be aware of so that they can step in and really hit the ground running? I think you've alluded to a few of them throughout the interview, but yeah, I guess just to sort of list them out briefly.
I would say it'd be good to have a sense of Amazon ads, AMS ads, Amazon SEO. It would be great if they knew a little bit about e-commerce or online courses in other niches, because then they could work with all the stuff on our website and with the WooCommerce piece. I mean, I think a big thing that would really help a buyer is if they were comfortable maintaining our two contractors. We have a VA, and she's really knowledgeable about our products and handles the vast majority of customer service inquiries. And she does all the uploading of revisions of the books to KDP. She knows how to reformat all the ebooks. So she's would be of great value for a buyer. And also our IT guy knows a lot about how our site works and, what we've been doing and thinking. And so he would be very helpful to someone in terms of either a transition or a long-term addition to what the buyer's doing. What do you think about this, Jenny?
I think that's accurate. And if you want to change things at all as far as the music, or if there's a mistake in a song that, say, the VA finds and it's in the program Finale, you would probably need to make sure that you could find somebody who is a Finale expert on like we've been going to Upwork, and there are people on Upwork that do that. That's because all the music's been written in that program. And if you're going to, let's say there's a word that's misspelled, We're going to make that kind of a correction. You need somebody who knows how to do that in the program. And it's a pretty niche-y thing, but there are people out there that know that. And I'd say that having some knowledge of the ability to fix errors in sheet music would be helpful. It's something you can contract out.
Yeah, that's definitely great to know. If the pair of you did, in theory, stay with the business, what would be some of the opportunities you would try to explore if you wanted to grow it further?
The first thing we would do is add a new book and a video course, and perhaps written half of the sheet music for that. I have about half of the music still needs to be written, but that one's almost ready to go. We would because we've learned over 7 years, we would completely revise all 6 of our books. And we would try, because currently there's some hard songs in the easy books and some easy songs in the hard books. And it would be better if they were leveled more appropriately. We didn't quite really figure that out until we got going about how maybe it would be good to have a level that would take somebody through this journey. Our books tend to be, some of them are general and some of them are particular styles of music. So it would be good to have, books that were just leveled and then sort of supplementary books that were various musical styles. And the thing is, you could make the content progression more gradual and you could make it more logical. And you could also split the existing books, say 6 of them, into 10 different ones. And then you would have more books to sell and more of a niche. We would like to introduce a product on our website that would generate monthly recurring revenue, kind of a membership. And we're working on doing that right now. We'd like to develop some more higher priced courses that people would come to the website that would include video and possibly some downloads, and that would be more profitable. We'd probably put into place into our email sequence some more logical consumption sequences that would drive customers to other books. And yes, we would try some new marketing approaches on some of our products, some of our more expensive products that have not sold as well. So we were working on that. We were talking about putting more affiliate links on our blog posts. And then Amazon decided that we were so successful and they are calling us an Amazon influencer, and we have not yet developed an Amazon influencer page. So that would be something we would consider doing too. So there's all kinds of things. And if I left anything out, Rebecca, you can do it. You can go.
The one thing I would add is that we have a lot of landing pages and call to actions on various pages on our site. And until now, we've been kind of working to just get those things built. And we didn't have the knowledge to do extensive A/B testing, which color would be better. And if the button is moved this way, how much more response could you get? And I think there's room for a lot of growth there. Our coach has pretty much said so. He's like, that landing page is really, he said, I can't believe you get the response you do with that not very good landing page. He used a different word, but I'll keep it at PG. So I think there is a lot of room for increasing response rates to where people go on our site. If you know how to do that already, that would be an easy way to grow the business.
So those were not things that were in our arsenal. We were more musicians and we knew WordPress. But when it came to the marketing and online A/B testing and all that, you can understand the concept, but the technological doing of it, if you haven't done it before and you don't know how to do it, it's a pretty steep learning curve. So if somebody already has that background, they could do a lot of that and they'd probably get a lot more sales.
Yeah, that's great. I think there's definitely lots of avenues for growth there for sure. If we, look at just to take a step back, all businesses have inherent risks with them. What would you say are some of the biggest risks with this business that a buyer should be aware of?
The biggest risk, and I think this is true for any KDP business, is that Amazon makes some change to the algorithm or their regulations or whatever, and suddenly your product, you can't sell your product on Amazon anymore. That would be the biggest risk as the business is structured right now, because that's the largest percentage of the revenue. The other potential risk, and again, this is something all online businesses are facing, is if Google makes a big change to the algorithm and suddenly, for whatever reason, all of our organic traffic blog posts no longer are tracking traffic. It's interesting, our website traffic comes from lots of different pages. It's not like it's just one page. And we have over 170 posts on our blog. So I don't think that risk is so severe for us because we have a lot of little trickles coming in and making a big stream in terms of traffic from Google. I would say the Amazon piece is more of an issue.
But that's true for any KDP business. I remember listening to podcasts, Amazon took down the also bots, and a whole bunch of online businesses were suddenly getting half the revenue that they were getting before, the Amazon-based businesses. So anytime Amazon, Google, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, any of them, Pinterest, Instagram, anytime they change their rules or algorithms, that's a risk for a person that's in online, but it's also a risk for everyone. And so our business, it's not unique. And because we have the email list and because we have the site, we have a little bit more stability. And we've been there for 7 years and we're still profitable. We had a period where we weren't as profitable, but we built it back so it's much more automated. Most of our stuff is on our site. It's on our Vimeo account. It's on our YouTube account. And we have backups to all of it. And we own it. So as long as you're maintaining that email list and maintaining your connections with the customers that you already have, you're going to have less of a risk than other kinds of online businesses. And any online business is going to have this risk because that's the nature of stuff you don't own that's online. The people who own it can change it, and they don't have to answer to the people who use their products.
And I'll just add to that this issue of the Amazon algorithm changing, that is why we have been working very hard for the last year and a half to add in information products and downloads and courses, because we are seeing that it's always better if the business is diversified.
Yeah, makes sense. I think with online businesses, we're always subject to the internet giants like Amazon and Google, especially if we, leverage their platforms to monetize our businesses. But it's great, that you shared about the email list and other things that, just bring a bit more stability to this business. I mean, that's all great. I just want to ask you the last few questions now as we're wrapping up this interview. How much support are you offering buyers?
We decided we'd go with offering up to 4 60-minute calls on Zoom. So a maximum of 4 hours of calls. That's available for 60 days after the sale, and up to 5 emails a week, email support. And we get back to the buyer within 48 hours. And that would be good for up to 120 days after the sale. We really want to make sure that whoever buys this is a success, that they're happy, that the business is working for them, because, it's our first little baby. We want it to grow up and succeed even more.
Right. And our names are on the book. So we'd like to see you successful.
For sure. That's really great to hear. Are you willing to commit to a non-compete?
Yes.
Yes.
Great stuff. And are you open to negotiating something like an earn-out, like seller financing?
Yes. I mean, I read some of your Empire blogs about that, and we thought it looked like a good opportunity for, make it possible for a buyer to get the business and then possibly for us to generate more revenue from the sale. So it could be really a win-win. So we're definitely open to that.
That's great to know. Last question then. If both of you put yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why would you say that this is a business worth buying?
I'll start with that, and then Rebecca could continue. I would say the business has been in existence for 7.5 years. Some of the products, when you look in our particular niche, are top selling. It's an evergreen product. It tends to use public domain materials. It never goes out of style. It's something that appeals to people of all ages, but within that niche, that's kind of an everyman's kind of thing. It's got something that's really unique that really works. And the people who buy our products and use our products and use our method for learning this musical skill tend to be successful and happy, and then they tell all their friends. So I would say that it's kind of a word of mouth thing that grows on its own. And if you can then take that and that kind of Heimishy feeling and put it into social media and put it into various platforms and leverage that so you get even more customers, I think you have a great chance to grow something that will be really, really successful.
I would just add that we've been working with our coach for that last year and a half to really systematize things, to document how we do things. So there's a bunch of SOPs and how-to videos that are part of the assets that are being sold, just to avoid where you're having to run around like a chicken with your head cut off, putting out fires. It's not like that at all now. I mean, it's possible for the thing to run on its own without much day-to-day interaction. We also put a lot of effort into doing the design of the website and implementing WooCommerce. So that platform's really easy for the buyer to work with if they want to add new products to sell. And finally, we really had long working relationships with our 2 key contractors. We alluded to them earlier, and they are really accomplished, knowledgeable, excellent in their fields. I mean, the IT guy, he's our fourth IT guy. We went through 3 before we found him, and he's so much better than the first 3. And he's also much less expensive, and he's just a good all around person. So,
Nice.
if the buyer didn't already have folks in those capacities, these contractors are would be very helpful in terms of helping grow the business.
They're very high level.
Yeah, and we really put a lot of thought and effort into developing good relationships with them and helping them grow and learn new skills as they're working with us. For example, the VA, she did not know how to do Kindle ebook formatting, so we had her learn the new program. We gave her the training she needed so she could take that over.
We taught her how to do some of the sequences and tags and segments and all of those kinds of things in ConvertKit. And she finds some of my errors and fixes. And she's been invaluable because whenever you create something, it's always very helpful to have somebody else proof it. And she's invaluable in proofing. And she's very invaluable. And she comes up with ideas like this blog post could perhaps drive traffic to this product, and would you like me to set that up? And you're like, absolutely. She's really creative. And the other thing that's awesome about her is I think I'm more of a forest than a trees person. I think Rebecca is kind of too, and you need to have somebody who can really see the details, then also have the ability to bring the details to fruition. And our various contractors, we've been able to bring them, everybody's part-time, we've been able to bring them into having more of a role in the business. And then, that gives us more the creative end of it. But as we learn things, we pass some of these responsibilities on, and then it's able to run more on its own.
That's definitely a lot of great insight there. It sounds like you've got some really wonderful people backing you up in the business. It's just great advice that you're sharing about the dynamic and all-round team as well. People who can, like you say, more detail-oriented, while there's other people who are sort of more big picture. That's fantastic. Well, Rebecca and Jenny, I think that's the end of our interview for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I really look forward to seeing your business getting picked up by the right buyer in the not-too-distant future.
Thank you, Vinny.
It was a pleasure, Vinny. Thanks very much for spending the time with us.
No worries. The pleasure is all mine. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing number 52903. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. And once you've unlocked the listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about the business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.